फैमिली बिजनेस था, बैकिंग थी, आराम से हो जाएगा. इतना आसान नहीं होता. We really want the European concepts to come over here, but once they come here, we don't want to adapt to their concepts.
कितना percent of your clientele is the one who actually knows their coffee and कितना percentage is just hype based?
Of course, you cannot satisfy everyone's needs with coffee. That is one thing I've realized. So the moment you think like a consumer, you will understand every step that they're gonna take.
What is the right way to do a coffee rave and versus what is happening in Delhi right now?
I am not saying I know everything. I'm just a 22-year-old boy who's still understanding.
I have to ask, is it inspired by Ralph's?
In an oat milk category, I would say 60 to 70%.
Because I'm trying to understand what kind of clientele comes.
A few of my friends calling Marcel's an upscale tapri.
How many orders are you doing on daily basis?
Average, we can do.
Hello and welcome back to another episode by Just Because. Today we have Rudraksh with us from Marcel's. If you live in Delhi and if you are fond of good coffee, you have probably heard of them. Hi Rudraksh.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All good.
So for context, you are the youngest person on my podcast.
Wow.
Guys, he's just 22.
Yeah, I'm just 22, so.
Tell me, what is the story with neighborhood boy?
So the story with Neighborhood Boy is that uh, I created this coffee shop in a small space that is there in Defense Colony. And because I've been living there since I've been born, so it was just to create a space which is very comfortable for everyone in general. Just to create that spot where people can come, have a grab, grab a coffee and hang by.
So, what's your vision with Marcel's? Because coffee windows and kiosks are not very big in India,
Yes.
in Delhi. So, what's the vision?
So the vision is that our lives have become very fast paced. I mean, look at us scrolling through reels and YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
हमारे पास time ही नहीं है. We just want to scroll through reels and quickly do everything quickly because um the our mind and the just the how can I explain it to you that just our concentration levels have dropped down so much that we cannot focus on one thing for a very long time, and that also reflects on our our daily lives.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was this gap in the market where people really want their coffee and they want to grab and go before they go for their work. So that's why I came up with this small cute coffee window concept that where people can come, they can grab their coffees and they can bounce off of work, or they sometimes this happens with us that people send their drivers, and so that sometimes they're getting ready, so or they're having like a quick meeting in their cars, they'll send their drivers in and they'll be like um just get us our coffees. So that concept India has, or even Delhi hasn't seen as of now, because this is there in Europe, and I was inspired by these kiosks over there. उधर ना छोटे छोटे kiosks होते हैं. So I found inspiration in them, and I was like, this is something which can boom in India,
Yeah.
and that concept I feel can grow a lot over here.
Hmm. And I've seen that, your social media is not very silly. It's not direct at all, which I really like. So, उसमें क्या thought process है?
Meko, I didn't want my Instagram to be very boring where I post photos of, coffees and all of that stuff. I wanted it to be, people should relate to it. Like, every time people open Marcel's ka Instagram page, they should, have like a quick laugh, or they should, just relate to it. Whenever you open Instagram, you cannot just see basic photos or like, those professional photo shoots and done and all of that stuff. You want something very fun and cool.
Yeah, Instagram is a calorie burn app in the sense that you open it because of the scrolling.
Exactly.
You're not here to find something. You're just here because you're bored or you're addicted to the dopamine. So it has to, like, your content needs to, give that thing, give that kind of dopamine to that viewer. That's the only way. Do you think that only people who are going for their offices or jobs in the morning, they are only coming, or like is general public also attracted?
So our clientele is such that since we open at 12,
Hmm.
so the clientele that we get during morning, during afternoon time, and let's say somewhere between 1 to 4 is purely the corporate crowd that come to, they grab a coffee and they bounce. And apart from that, in the evenings we get a lot of young crowd that just comes there to enjoy.
Yeah.
And in the initial phase, I was hoping that happens, and I'm glad that happened, and I'm grateful for that, of course, because that is what I aimed for. I remember when I would go out to play football and cricket with my friends. मैं हमारे टाइम क्या बोलूं, but like I'm also a part of that Gen Z thing, but um there is this thing where now we've forgotten the essence of actually going out and having a coffee.
Yeah.
हम लोग जाते थे, फुटबॉल खत्म हुई, चल यार लेट्स गो हैव लाइक एन आइसक्रीम फ्रॉम क्वालिटी वॉल्स के वहाँ पे वो लगा हुआ है, और लेट्स जस्ट grab a coffee from cafe coffee day, and barista था, I mean है अभी भी, I think उधर डेफ कॉल में. So हम लोग ये करते थे that let's go. But post that, since we've gotten so tech savvy and all of that stuff, right, people have started ordering, and we've forgotten the essence of actually going out. And now that I see that even the younger crowd is coming out and enjoying, I know we don't have space to sit, we just have like a bench and like a marble top, and people just sit there and enjoy. It's just finding that comfort wherever you are. That's why we try to create like an atmosphere where you feel comfortable and you feel the warmth of the place as well.
What are your most busiest days or busiest hours? Anything you have?
Our busiest days, of course, weekends. Weekends, of course, no.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yes, yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Busiest hours, I would say it depends as well sometimes, because it also depends on the weather.
Yeah.
We are not there on any other delivery platforms. So people also don't want to go out and,
In the peak heat.
peak heat, yeah. So, but I'll say that around, let's say 12 to 2, then around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. onwards, we do get a lot of footfall.
Because I'm trying to understand what kind of clientele comes.
So we get all sorts of clientele, honestly. I personally preferred catering to, let's say, the daily coffee drinkers who know their coffees, but I am also open to having more people who are trying coffee for the first time. Because the issue that lies in our society right now with coffee is that कॉफ़ी को ना बहुत उसको मतलब कमर्शलाइज कर करके ना कॉफ़ी का एसेंस हटा दिया है.
Can you elaborate?
सो कॉफ़ी
Hmm.
coffee ke there are only two sizes, two standard sizes, which is 250 280 ml or 350 380 ml or max 480 ml. And these 350 ones are cold ones, and the 250 280 ones are hot beverages. लोगों को आदत पड़ गई है दैट आइस लाटे है तो उसका साइज में स्मॉल भी मिल सकता है, मीडियम भी, लार्ज भी, एक्स्ट्रा.
Thanks to Starbucks.
I don't want to point fingers, but I'll say that was a very smart marketing gimmick that they did, because we all know the concept of the three M's, right? So that is there, but I would say that's a smart marketing gimmick. But again, because in order to generate revenue, they did this. हमारे माइंडसेट में वो बैठ गया है.
3 sizes तो होने चाहिए.
3 से 4 साइज होने चाहिए. उसके अलावा कॉफ़ी के साइजेस होते हैं, बट कॉफ़ी के साइजेस क्या होते हैं? अ स्मॉल कॉफ़ी like an espresso, single shot espresso is a solo espresso. A double shot is a doppio. Then you go to piccolo, which is a single shot of espresso with steamed milk and a bit of froth on top. Then you go to cappuccino, latte, and flat white. They all come with different milk and froth ratios. So उसमें sizes होते हैं. That is where the sizes come in place. But not where, if it's an ice latte, आपको 5-6 size में मिलेंगे. We also face one issue that with all coffee brands, I don't know if you've had or not, Vietnamese coffee you've had?
It's my favorite.
With Vietnamese coffee, uh, which place do you feel has the best Vietnamese coffee?
Best Vietnamese coffee, I would say Blue Tokai has a decent Vietnamese coffee. Yeah, that's my order over there. So on top of my mind.
So with Vietnamese is how quickly do you get your order?
5-7 minutes, under 10 minutes.
Under 10 minutes, right? And is it watery? Does it have milk? Enough milk?
I would say it's watery because of the ice, but
Yes.
उसमें condensed milk होता है तो थोड़ी तो thick होती है वो.
हाँ.
But the bottom is thick, ऊपर ऊपर it's watery because of the ice is what I feel.
So all brands have done this of making cold brew batches and adding milk to their Vietnamese coffee, which is not an authentic recipe.
Hmm.
In order to increase the portion size and the size of the coffee cup, they add milk, and in order to cut down on the time, they use cold brew batches. So cold brew batches, of course, you can prepare overnight and you can use them for your coffees. So that turns out to be almost a Spanish latte. Spanish latte is milk, condensed milk, and espresso,
Yeah.
right? So that's why that is one thing where, people, the authentic Vietnamese coffee is using a fee filter,
Yeah.
putting ground coffee in it, and pouring hot water. It's a small cup of coffee, but it's a direct condensed milk to coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
बट बिकॉज हमारे को गलत तरीकों से अलग अलग चीज़ें से उनको सारे ब्रांड्स का रेवेन्यू जनरेट हो रहा है, राइट? दे आर जनरेटिंग रेवेन्यू, बट us as consumers, we are getting taught the wrong things about coffee. And I am not saying I know everything. I'm just a 22-year-old boy who's still understanding things. I openly say I don't have that much experience. But with my own research that I've done and with my own market understanding that I've, seen what's happening around, I can of course openly say that consumers को काफ़ी टाइम मतलब बहुत बार उनको एक गलत इमेज दिखाई जाती है कॉफ़ी की, बिकॉज रेवेन्यू बढ़ाना है, मार्केटिंग गिमिक्स हैं. So all of that, plays a very important role.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, kitna percent of your clientele is the one who actually knows their coffee, and kitna percentage is just hype based?
I would say 60 is coffee drinkers, regular coffee drinkers. 10 is your people who are coming in to try new coffees. 30 is hype. Of course, anything on Instagram, hyped up. Anything, it will get hyped up.
Overwhelming feel होता है कभी कभी Instagram पे trend करके.
वही है that once you get that hype on Instagram, right? Let's say, for example, I was catering to the daily coffee drinkers and I wanted to put the coffee flavors over to the people who want to, learn more about coffee and the taste about coffee. But with the hype, you will get all sorts of clientele.
Yeah.
Like, I welcome them with open arms. I'm happy that they're coming. But of course, you cannot satisfy everyone's needs with coffee. That is one thing I've realized. I try my best with, whatever I can provide. But the thing is that coffee is a very subjective taste.
It's very subjective.
Super subjective. Like, let's say for people who don't have that much coffee, because we use our own Marcel's blend, it's a dark roast with Billy Who. We partnered with Billy Who, so they've created a custom roast for us, which is called the Marcel's blend. Uh, so that roast is purely for the people who drink coffee every day, right? So that taste is super strong. And people who don't have coffee that much and who are just coming for the hype, they'll of course say, and I've heard as well, कि ये coffee कड़वी है, थोड़ा strong है, इसमें दूध मिला दो. For example, let's say for a daily coffee drinker, if I provide them a medium roast, they'll be like, oh, it's just another ordinary coffee. Because the people who drink coffee every day, their palates have become so used to the coffee, right? They need something even more strong.
Yeah, true.
Like, ये hit क्यों नहीं हो रही? Why is it so, like
Mellow.
hitting? Yeah, exactly. It's so mellow. It's not that strong. So then they add shot. To be different in the market, we've chosen a very dark blend, I would say. Because I know I had a lot of coffee connoisseurs come for trials as well. Everyone suggested we should go for a medium roast because it, caters to
Everyone. Yeah.
But I was like, if I'm catering to the people who drink coffee every day, they would be subject. It would be the taste would be very subjective, right?
And how is the general public perceiving it.
I am glad that I'm always there standing and I try my best to, get whatever feedback I can, because as a 22-year-old entrepreneur, it's not just that, okay, I've opened Marcel, I've achieved it. No, not at all. This is like just like that
Yeah.
the beginning. So I have to understand everything. Like I've understood one thing, that people still understand that coffee is the one which has froth on it.
Yeah, yeah.
कि इसमें froth नहीं है, because there are different types of coffee. So I feel that there are a lot of things that are there in the market that need to be told to the consumer in a good way.
Hmm. I think the normal Indian consumer, उनको पता है लाटे क्या होती है, कैपुचिनो क्या होती है, फ्रैपेचिनो क्या होती है, अमेरिकानो क्या होती है। अगर आप उनको एकदम से बता दोगे ना, अब वियतनामीज ले लो, पिकोलो ले लो, अफोगाटो ले लो, तो दे डोंट नो इट।
Yeah,
अगर उनको पता ही नहीं वो क्या है, फिर अगर आप उनको सर्व करोगे तो फिर उनको लगेगा ना ये क्या है।
हाँ वो तो है, that is there.
Yeah, so the education is very lacking, I feel, in this space.
It is our job as well as entrepreneurs. Why are we starting up a business? Is it just to generate revenue, or is it actually to actually make, we need to educate people about the product as well. You cannot just be like, okay, this is my coffee, come have it, give me money, oh my god, I'm generating revenue. No.
या मेन्यू जो कि उधर है आपके kiosk पे, does it have details also written below explaining in one line what the coffee is about?
We thought of adding those lines, but we skipped on that part because there was a reason behind it as well. We wanted that the customer or the consumer comes and interacts with us. They can, understand
And
and ask, and we can explain it in our terms. Because sometimes if I write cappuccino, double shot espresso with steam milk and 1 centimeter of froth on top, they'll be like, oh wow, okay, that's it. But if I'm speaking to them, I can also be like, what you should do? You should also try our iced espanol. That's our hot seller. With just interacting with them and getting a moment where you can, just, you know, not promote, but just talk about other things.
so how's matcha going for you?
Matcha,
It's all in the trend, matcha, matcha, matcha. Personally, I am not a fan of matcha, but what are your thoughts on matcha?
my take on matcha is that, again, it's similar. It's the next thing after coffee. Like coffee, when there was tea, coffee came in, right? Coffee at one point was, let's say, a status symbol for a lot of people. Ki, oh, we drink coffee. Then it became a necessity. And the same thing's happening with matcha. अभी it's a trend. So अभी लोग पी रहे हैं. But there are a lot of people who drink matcha for its benefits. And because of that withdrawal issue, matcha is genuinely good for those people. So I feel that there is growth happening, but because of the trend, that there's a shortage that has been caused, and even us as a brand, as an organization, we're also facing issues with our suppliers because they're like, पीछे से सामान नहीं आ रहा.
Really?
Yes.
So it's true.
Yeah, it is true. Because all the matcha, good, genuine matcha comes from Japan.
Yeah.
So the guys at the back end, they're like, सर सप्लाई ही नहीं आ रही, सप्लाई महंगी हुई जा रही है, हुई जा रही है, हुई जा रही है.
I thought कि वो news fake है.
Because the trend has become so big that yeah, every coffee shop is doing matcha.
Apple ने अब matcha emoji introduce कर दिया है.
Right now, if I say people who are coming to Marcel to drink matcha, or all over Delhi, I would say 40% of the people drink matcha as a necessity because they actually enjoy the beverage, and it's more healthier and cleaner as well. But the rest of the 60% are purely doing it either for the trend, or they're trying to adapt to the flavors of matcha. I personally couldn't.
Yeah.
We got a few requests that we get is, oh, you have matcha, oh lovely. We make the matcha, we give it to the guests. Oh, you don't have a transparent cup. I'm like, we're sorry, we don't have any plastic that we use for our packaging and all. They're like, oh, so you can't see matcha. So I was like, I can remove the lid, you can see it like that. So वही है, matcha चाहिए for the stories. And वही जिन लोगों को matcha पीनी है, they don't say anything. They know their order कि matcha latte, iced matcha latte and oat milk. That's it.
How much is the oat milk and almond milk category of your clientele?
Almond and oat milk category, I would say 60 to 70%.
That's a lot. 70% of people are asking.
So oat, almond, and lactose-free milk. And I understand that people try almond and oat milk for various reasons, but I've also understood that, like, we don't know where the regular milk is coming from. As any brand owner, chahe you take any brand that provides you milk, you never know where is that coming from, what is the cow being fed, the authenticity, right?
So I'm assuming, that people are very picky on their coffee orders or
Oh,
beverages.
yes, of course.
So what are some funny ones you've got?
I wouldn't say funny, but weird and complicated ones. They've been like, they wanted someone ordered for like an iced matcha latte with a shot of espresso and a pump of vanilla and a sachet of sugar free. And I was just there like,
Matcha and coffee.
that's dirty matcha. But then the vanilla syrup and the sugar free, I couldn't understand.
Oh God. I'm trying to
Exactly.
understand, but I'm not.
I was like, I mean, okay, sure, I'll make it, no worries. But then we also do get other orders like our classic cold has ice cream in it, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, can we get one classic cold and lactose free? And we just inform them that we put ice cream. I hope you're fine with that because you said you'll. They say that if you're lactose intolerant, so lactose free milk डाल दो. No, no, just put one scoop. Itna we are fine. Okay, done.
That's the Indian consumer for you.
Yeah, they want to try new things, and I'm happy. At least they're trying.
So what can I get at Marcel's that I can't get anywhere else?
What can you get at Marcel's? The experience, I would say. That small corner which makes you feel that you are in a very comfortable space where you feel the warmth, where you enjoy a cup of coffee, and where you actually don't hesitate while talking to anyone who's standing there.
Nice.
But yeah, one of the like cutest things that I've ever seen is people have started having dates on on that marble top.
Really?
Yes, and they sit there for hours, and it's just super sweet.
This is new. I never thought of this.
Yeah, people do sit there and they're like, couples will sit there, they'll enjoy their coffees and they'll sit there for hours.
Any more nice memories you recall, like you told about the date one?
About the date one, yes. This one happened recently. It was very wholesome, where this young lady must be like early 20s. She told us that she has a special request, that she wants a special card to be placed on the tiramisu that we are serving alongside that. So she wanted it to be placed over there. She gave us a text. The text said, "It's high time we call each other boyfriend and girlfriend." And the options, she had like an option in below which said yes. One said yes, the other said no. Bracket yes. So that was a very wholesome moment because with Marcel that happened for the first time, and that was just I felt like wow.
You saw that?
Yeah, I was the one who wrote the message because I told the guys were like, सर ये रिक्वेस्ट लेके आए हैं, ये क्या करना है अब इसका. मैंने कहा बताओ मेरे को दो, मैं लिखता हूँ. So I was the one who wrote that.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Any funny ones?
Funny ones regarding Marcel's.
Yeah.
So yes, apart from the complicated orders, can't recall, but one of them was a few of my friends calling Marcel's an upscale tapri.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because it's a small space.
It kind of makes sense.
You have an upscale, elegant, classy tapri now.
Yeah, that serves coffee.
Yeah, that serves coffee and desserts.
Nice. I think I second with your friends on this one.
Yeah.
Are you planning to expand into food as well? Because that brings in more customers, obviously.
Yeah, so with food, there's a slight issue. I wouldn't say an issue, but because I come from a family that has been in the hospitality industry for the past 50 years, and we have our restaurants next door, Nizam's Kathi Kebab and the Turkey Project. Since beginning, I made sure none of my items clash with either of the brands. Because if I start something that is available at both the restaurants, I'll be clashing and I'll be diluting my own brand, my own family brands. So I'd never wanted to do that. But again, that's why I stuck to just coffees and desserts.
Hmm.
But long-term expansion, of course, I will be adding food items.
As you mentioned, you come from a hospitality background. I want to know the challenges you faced still, because of course benefits तो है ही, that we don't I don't want to talk about that.
नहीं नहीं मैं तो कह रहा हूँ benefits भी सबको I feel everyone should know the benefits as well and the cons as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have this misconception कि okay family business था backing थी आराम से हो जाएगा. इतना आसान नहीं होता. इतना आसान नहीं होता.
तो क्या challenges face करे आपने?
You know, it's always there that your grandfather started this and then उसके बाद दादाजी and बड़े पापा worked so much and उसके बाद now your brothers as well. So you have to live up to that name as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always that, you know, pressure. I wouldn't say there's too much pressure, but I would say just in the back of your head it's always there. 50 years of legacy, you can't just come up with something that okay, I want to start something without thinking I'm going to do this, do that and I'll be successful. No, it doesn't work that way. Of course it comes with added pressure, but apart from that you also have the benefits, which is of course the experience. But even with experience, I'm genuinely thankful and grateful for my family, grateful to my family for doing this with me. I would multiple times, you know what would happen? So I would go and make a dessert. Let's say for example, गलत हो रहा है. Okay, make it again. I was working on a recipe of cannolis. ठीक है. अब मैं उसमें mascarpone और ricotta का mix डाल रहा हूँ. I am like बैठ नहीं रहा. I made my family try. Mm-hmm. No, इसमें ये नहीं जाएगा. I'm like okay, I'll try it again. इसमें ये नहीं जाएगा. फिर से बनाओ. Make it again. I tried it again and again and again. Later on, they're like, इसमें ये ingredients जाते ही नहीं. The toughest challenge for me personally, you must be thinking, would be the menu, would be the creating the coffees and the recipes. No, no design, no architectural issues. Biggest issue, staffing,
Hiring.
hiring. Oh my God, it was insane. मतलब I was like this during the whole day कि भाई कोई अच्छा बंदा क्यों नहीं मिल रहा. Guys who genuinely had the motivation and zeal to learn and work. Because I was super picky with my team. I didn't want people, you know, like while hiring during my interviews, I would ask them, okay, so where do you see yourself in like 5 years? और आप अपने आप को कहाँ देखते हो? आप ब्रांड को कैसे बढ़ाओगे? They're like, sir, some people would be like, सर है जैसा चलेगा हम साथ साथ करेंगे. ऑल्सो सर आपको हमारे को 3 टाइम का खाना मिल जाएगा. कितनी ब्रेक्स मिलती हैं? एंड दैट मोमेंट आई एम लाइक ओके ठीक है कोई नहीं. And then the moment and later on I get guys like, you know, I ask them, there are boys like, sir, we want to we want to work with you and we want to learn with you so that at one point you're like, okay, we're planning on another outlet and आप हमारे को ड्यूटीज दो कि ये दो आउटलेट्स का ऑपरेशन हम संभालेंगे. ताकि हम जो अभी एज अ लेट्स से बरिस्ता आए हैं, हम सीनियर बरिस्ता बने, देन उसके बाद हम मैनेजर पोजीशन पे आए, देन हम ऑपरेशन हेड करें एंड हम उस लेवल पे आपके साथ और कंपनी के साथ ग्रो करें. सो आई वाज वेरी पिकी विद दीज थिंग्स बिकॉज आई वांटेड पीपल हु वुड वांट ग्रोथ इन देमसेल्व्स एज
Where do you hire these baristas from? Is there a porter or something, or like poaching होती है? क्या होता है?
well. So I can share this small secret, of course. Um, of course, I wouldn't say poaching, but During while I was doing my research, right, I would go and sit at cafes. I would just, you know, every week I would go there twice or thrice. I would just sit and see how the operations are going on, understand, build that, I would talk to these guys or baristas and managers, asking them how's it going, all good. And they would of course tell me, just like any basic human interaction, they would be like सही चल रहा है ऐसा, or like you enjoying, lovely, अच्छा. और उसके basis पे they would also explain कि हाँ operation में ये दिक्कत आ रही है हमारे को, ये ऐसा हो रहा है. So उधर से धीरे 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 करके they started asking me, अच्छा सर आप क्या करते हो ऐसे, ओके, एंड अच्छा आपके अगर आप कॉफ़ी शॉप खोल रहे हो, आप आपके उधर पोजीशन है. So I'm like, of course, hey. It was like not poaching them. Yeah. It was like just interacting with them. But
It was approaching.
it was approaching. And it was just them.
I'm curious that since you're not available on any third party apps and you don't entertain Porter and VFast and stuff like that, so how are you planning to like expand? Like, what's the vision over there?
So coming up to this topic, so the reason we're not on any delivery platforms is purely because coffee is a perishable product. It is supposed to be had in that moment itself.
Yeah.
There is a hit that you have to take, but you have to put it out as well. That, see, this is our model. We don't deliver. We won't be there on third party services, or we don't promote those services, because we want your coffee to be provided to you in the best condition possible. And we don't want your iced coffees to be diluted by the time it reaches you, right?
एक लेयर बस पानी का है.
एक लेयर पानी का है, और उसके बाद हमारे को फीडबैक आ रहा है वाटरी कॉफी और वे fully diluted.
2 rating.
I haven't shut the door for delivery platforms, but I'm also looking for alternative options where I can, provide the same experience. I never shut doors to like opportunities.
Yeah.
Never. But the thing is that
Experience नहीं खराब होना चाहिए.
experience नहीं खराब होना चाहिए. आप यहाँ ऑर्डर कर रहे हो, आपने पैसे दिए हैं, ठीक है, कॉफ़ी आ रही है डाइल्यूटेड पानी, आपकी कॉफ़ी, आपका मूड भी ख़राब, आपने रिव्यू भी डाल दिया, हमारा भी मूड ख़राब. We really want the European concepts to come over here, but once they come here, we don't want to adapt to their concepts, because that is at our own comfort level.
चाहिए सब पर अपने घर कंफर्ट पे चाहिए.
Yes, things are changing. People are still, people are coming out, and now with this concept, people are sitting outside on the bench, even though it's hot. We put a cooler. People are still coming out saying कि हमें अंदर नहीं बैठना. And I especially go to them and I'm like, thank you so much, because this is the concept that I was trying to explain to everyone. And slowly I can see it taking shape.
How many orders are you doing on daily basis?
The average, I would say 80 to 100 orders.
Nice. I have to ask this. I'm sure आपको भी बहुत ही questions आते होंगे. Is it inspired by Ralph's, or what is the backstory?
So it isn't inspired by Ralph. Honestly, we were thinking of a mascot for Marcel's, and we were like, what gives you warmth in the morning? And we were like, a nice warm cup of coffee and a teddy bear. So then we came up with this teddy bear concept. And we were like, should we dress him up? Then I was like, during winters, I was wearing these shirts and I was wearing sweaters on top of them. So that's how we connected that bear, and we gave him the clothes that I was wearing. And the bear over here, of course, it's designed by my brother's girlfriend. She's a designer. Her name is Soumya Sachdev. Amazing work.
Yeah, I can see it certain here.
I had a few, many a times I would argue with her. Like, one thing that I really put effort in was my overthinking. Just thinking way too much, but you find a solution. So, like with these cups, I try to, even with my overthinking, I try to find a positive point. Like, I remember I was talking to my brother's girlfriend, Soumya Didi. I call her Soumya Didi. So, she was like, why don't you put this Marcel's over here? Because when you hold the cup, it should be visible. नहीं तो अब तो छुप जाएगा, है ना? So I was like, no, I want it on the side. She's like, why? My overthinking was that the moment you hold the cup like this, you hide Marcel's. The moment this will be there on every Instagram story, this bear, people will get more intrigued, right? People would get intrigued ki, okay, what is this bear? They'll start thinking, they'll start searching this bear, and that builds a connection mentally behind your head, at the back of your head. People are gonna start looking for those bears,
Yeah.
and people will be like, oh,
ये था.
ये था. So this is how they get connected to the story of your brand, and they will automatically start following you. They will go the extra mile to search.
Yeah.
Because the moment you think like a consumer, you will understand every step that they're gonna take. अच्छा, ऑर्डर करेंगे, ऑर्डर करने के बाद उनका ऑर्डर नहीं आया तो क्या बोलेंगे आपने? अगर उन्होंने लेट हो रहा है थोड़ा सा, आप क्या बोलोगे? अगर आपने ऐसा बोला तो गेस्ट ये बोल सकता है. So it's just overthinking everything that gives you the answers.
Well, coffee raves are trending all over the internet. What are your thoughts on that?
Coffee rave,
Unfiltered opinion I want.
unfiltered opinions.
Yeah.
Raves हैं ये, बस coffee raves नहीं है. I don't see coffee there.
True.
I just see alcohol and coffee cups. Coffee raves अगर होती हैं, coffee raves are supposed to happen either at 7 in the morning or 4 or 5 in the evening during sundown. Or
What is the right way to do a coffee rave and versus what is happening in Delhi right now?
मैं ये कहूँगा, मेरे को सब कुछ नहीं पता रे कॉफ़ी रेव्स वगैरह क्या है, बट आई वुड से जो अभी चल रहा है, इट्स जस्ट अ गिमिकी थिंग टू हॉप इनटू द ट्रेंड. This is not a coffee rave. This is a rave happening in a small bakery shop. I know this comes from Amsterdam and other places in Europe where they had these small raves in bakery shops and उसको coffee rave बना दिया है. But there are a few brands that do coffee raves. I won't name them, but वही है that, you know, the concept again, we've changed according to our own
Comfort.
I wouldn't say comfort, but our own vision of coffee raves.
Yeah. What will sell?
Yeah, what will sell? Like, why would you drink at a coffee rave? Like, why would you drink alcohol at a coffee rave, right? It's a coffee rave. That's the concept. You're high on caffeine, not alcohol.
Do you think it's a fad?
I wouldn't say it's a fad, but मैं फिर वही कहूँगा that हमने उसका concept ही बदल दिया जैसे वो इंडिया आया. हमने अपने परसेप्शन से लेना चालू कर दिया. ये होती है कॉफी रेव. मुझे खुद को नहीं पता ज़्यादा कॉफी रेव कैसे हो रहा है बाहर के अभी, क्योंकि इट्स अ रीसेंट थिंग. सो मैं खुद नहीं बोलूँगा कि ये ऐसे होना चाहिए, बट आई कैन ऑफ कोर्स stand for this that coffee raves cannot happen at 10 at night or post 7. Coffee raves are supposed to happen at like sunsets or let's say sunrise.
I've seen videos of Europe coffee raves that वो office hours से पहले होती है because people attend the coffee raves and then they go to office. That's the right way.
That is of course the right way to do, because coffee raves is supposed to happen in the morning. बट वही है, मैं क्यों उठूंगा? वैसे मैं भी क्यों उठूंगा सुबह कॉफी रेव करूँ उसके बाद काम पे?
क्योंकि बाहर का वो कल्चर है ना, दे टेक अवे कॉफी, दे गो फॉर रन. यहाँ पे तो करते ही नहीं कोई.
But their culture is also different. I know क्या साहब, most majority of the coffee shops outside, they start at 6 in the morning, 4 o'clock they're done. They're shut.
That's interesting. I think I got everything I wanted from this conversation.
I'm glad.
And thank you so much for.
No, pleasure is always mine. Thank you.
And I can't wait for Marcel's to open their second, third, fourth
So much.
kiosk in Delhi. And see you soon.
See you soon too.
See you guys next week.